Hello. In part 8, when our topic was the lost medieval cathedral of St Mary's at Coventry, I mentioned the bishopric of Lichfield moving temporarily to Chester in 1075, then to Coventry a decade later, and then with the bishop's return to Lichfield in 1148, Lichfield and Coventry becoming co-cathedrals. A diocese, essentially peripatetic but nominally based at Repton, was established in 656 by Bishop Diuma. St Wilfrid, bishop between 666 and 669, was given numerous grants of land by the King of Mercia, Wulfhere, including land at Lichfield, and when Chad was appointed bishop in 669, he chose Lichfield as his base, close to the Mercian royal centre at Tamworth and well placed where the major Roman routes of Watling Street and Rickneld Street crossed. By the end of the 7th century, a church stood on the site of the present cathedral. Chad's remains were contained in a wooden shrine, and Lichfield became a popular place of pilgrimage. Under King Offa, in the late 8th century, Lichfield was briefly the seat of an Archbishop of Mercia. It was probably at this time of elevated importance that the Lichfield Angel, discovered during an archaeological exploration in search of the Saxon and Norman cathedral, was commissioned. Originally richly coloured and presumably part of an Annunciation scene forming a panel on a new stone shrine chest designed to hold St Chad's relics. Under the Normans, the cathedral was rebuilt using stone quarried from a moat dug on 3 sides of the site, in the process enabling the cathedral close to be fortified. Foundations of the Norman church were discovered beneath the south choir during restoration work in the 19th century. This revealed an apse with an ambulatory and radiating chapels was replaced by a square-ended east end in the mid-12th century. A major makeover took place in the 13th century using red sandstone from a quarry owned by the cathedral nearby at Hopwas. A 2-storey, polygonal, early Gothic chapter house dates from this period. The upper floor was used as a secure store for books, archives and the cathedral's valuables. A vaulted meeting room beneath had just enough space for the then community of 25 canons. A row of canopied stalls lined the entrance passage. Walter Langton, appointed bishop in 1296, who was also Edward I's treasurer, completed work on the cathedral close, adding a bishop's palace, dean's house, houses for the canons, a smaller vicar's close, and surrounding the precinct with battlements and gatehouses. Langton's palace was destroyed in the Civil War and was replaced in classical style in 1687 by Edward Pearce, one of the masons who worked closely with Christopher Wren on rebuilding London after the Great Fire. Flanking wings were added in the Victorian period. From 1954, it's been home to the cathedral's school. The deanery has also since been rebuilt. Langton ordered a new lavish shrine for St Chad and built a lady chapel as an appropriate setting. Its design, a rectangle of 3 bays with a 3-sided east end, is unique in an English cathedral. At the turn of the 19th century, painted glass dating from 1532, originally at the Cistercian Herkenrode Abbey, now in Belgium, was acquired by Sir Brooke Boothby of Ashbourne Hall and sold to the cathedral for the cost of his outlay. Herkenrode was dissolved under Napoleon in the 1790s and the nuns expelled. After restoration at Barley Studio near York, this glass, which is of international importance, was installed in the Lady Chapel in 2015, replacing the clear glazing that had been in place after the original windows were damaged in the Civil War. The use of perspective in the Herkenrode windows is evidence of Italian Renaissance techniques filtering into the Low Countries. As well as the Lady Chapel, Langton was responsible for the picture gallery west front and probably the 3 spires, known as the 3 Sisters, Lichfield Cathedral's defining visual feature. The central spire rises to 252 feet, the western spires to 190 feet. In the second half of the 14th century, the architectural style changes from the decorated Gothic of the Lady Chapel to the plainer and lighter perpendicular Gothic style, which can be seen in the main arcades and in the upper level of the choir. During the Civil War, the cathedral close was garrisoned by royalist forces under the Earl of Chesterfield and Sir Richard Dyett. It was captured by the parliamentarians led by Lord Brooke after a 3-day artillery bombardment in 1643, and horses were then stabled in the cathedral. It was later retaken by Prince Rupert and suffered a further destructive siege in 1646. Left in a roofless and dilapidated condition after the war, there was even a proposal to demolish the cathedral completely, but repairs began after the restoration of Charles II in 1660 under the direction of Bishop John Hackett. Christopher Wren is thought to have been involved as a consultant. A weathered canopied statue of King Charles stands on the south side of the building. The newly restored cathedral was consecrated in 1669, appropriately 1,000 years after the arrival of St Chad as bishop. Most of what remained of the medieval close was swept away in the 18th century, and some alterations, largely cosmetic, carried out to the cathedral. Much of what we see today is sympathetic Victorian restoration undertaken over 4 decades, which included new statues and a refaced west front, and the result of regular maintenance on the relatively soft red sandstone. A stained glass window by Charles E. McKemp in the south wall of the choir, commemorating the restoration of the cathedral after the Civil War, was commissioned to celebrate the Victorian restoration. We can't leave Lichfield Cathedral without seeing the Sleeping Children, Francis Chantrey's 1817 memorial to sisters Ellen Jane and Marianne Robinson, daughters of a prebendary at the cathedral who died tragically early. Next time I'm going to take a look at Worcester Cathedral. If you've enjoyed this video, hit the like and subscribe buttons and click on the notification bell to be informed when the next video is available, or you can subscribe by clicking on the rose window over my shoulder.